Right, so you've gone and got yourself a Land Rover, and you're thinking, hey, this thing is a bit doughy off the mark, isn't it? Obviously this is a Td5, the turbo diesel. This won't work for your V8. This is just Td5 only. Defender, Anti-Discovery, they're all the same. This will work for all of them. Now, what we're doing is bypassing the MAF sensor, because the MAF sensor often is no good on these. And I'll just show you on this one exactly what happens to them. And that is, be able to see on this one a lot easier than when it hasn't been hollowed out, but there's a wire or a filament, if you like, that goes across here. There's one there and there's one here, and basically that filament often just falls apart and just gets sucked down in through the turbo, and usually passes through without any problems. But once that happens, your engine's then lost that signal for the amount of air mass that flows into the engine. So when you put your foot on the accelerator, it's then thinking it's not really flowing much air, so accordingly it doesn't put in as much fuel as what you'd like. So this modification is effectively bypassing the MAF sensor and using the TPS, the throttle position signal, to backfeed into the computer. So when you put your foot on the accelerator, it sees the same voltage that the TPS is giving it, and it fools it into thinking that, oh, MAF sensor's going nuts, we've got to dump in a bit more fuel here, and off it goes. So this one in particular, and I find that a lot of other guys, a lot of other TD5 owners will say the same thing. Oh, you know, it's like a death wish trying to pull away from the lights, especially put bigger tyres on, and it's sort of flat right up until the turbos start to kick in, and then from about 2,500 RPM onwards, it starts moving. But below that, it's just flat. You know, you're having to do things like drop it into low box just to get up a small hill if you're towing a trailer or something. Once you do this modification, you won't have that problem. This thing now, it has basically no lag. That's the difference it's made. But anyway, basically what we're doing, we're taking the signal from, I'll try and get this as good as I can, with as much information as I can in a short video. Right, so you got your signal wire that comes out of the back of the connector here, and that just usually plugs into the MAF itself. Now, the same coloured wires end up over at the ECU harness, like the actual plug that goes into the ECU. And the one you're looking for is that orange. It's orange with a light green trace on it, and that's the one that we're gonna tap into. It's a very, very simple, easy modification, this. And I'll try and make this so you can see exactly what you need to do. I'll see if I can zoom in, make it that much easier. Alright, so you got over here is which one is it? This one here is that same coloured wire that's going, well, that's the one that comes from the plug that goes to the MAF sensor. So that's your signal coming back from the MAF sensor. So it's got power going to it from the computer, which is 5 volts, 5 volt signal, could be 12, I'm pretty sure it's 5. and then it measures the airflow coming through it and adjusts it accordingly and sends back a signal, you know, like 1.2 volts, 3 volts, whatever, depending on just how much air is flowing through it. To bypass it, you leave that disconnected and pick up the TPS, which is the throttle trace, and you'll see with a multimeter, I'll try and do another video on it, but you'll see with a multimeter where the throttle trace, as you're pressing the throttle pedal in and out, it'll effectively be around the, well, it'll go up to about 4 volts from memory, and then the further you press it, it actually starts to drop down. It's a non-linear situation. I think it's to do with the way that it references between the different potentiometers that are in that pedal assembly, so that you don't have any issues with the throttle if one of them fails. But anyway, that's to the side. So yeah, basically this is just the wire that's jumping those two together. You've got your MAF signal jumping to your TPS. Now all you're doing is bearing those two wires back, nothing fancy. You're bearing them back, solder in a wire like so, tape it up. Otherwise, you know, it's not going to earth out in here because it's plastic, but effectively now when you put your foot on the accelerator, the signal going into the computer is seeing voltage as though the MAF is working, and it dumps the fuel in, and guarantee it'll transform it overnight. I mean, you can either go and buy a new MAF and do it that way, or you can do this, and yeah, works just as well. I've had this going now for probably 15,000 kilometers, and it's just so much better. Fuel economy doesn't change. If anything, it improves. You're not wearing out your clutch as much because you don't have to ride it anymore. But yeah, that's it. So I'll make another video of it driving. I was going to try and get the boost sensor hooked up, but yeah, I need more time for that. Anyway, that's the modification.